Late in the year 1968, up to mid-1969, the area of Northern California was on the vice end of a string of brutal murders orchestrated by a man who went by the name Zodiac Killer. His offenses were not only the gruesome killings, he dared the police and constituents by sending letters and by cryptograms that only challenged detectives and academics for a long time. Even today, people could not deduce out his true identity, and that makes the Zodiac Killer one the most popular cases in the true crime genre. The Zodiac's murderous spree started on the 20th of December 1968, when two teenagers, Betty Lou Jensen, David Faraday, were shot dead close to Valley Joe, California. 6 months later, again on July 4th, 1969, he attacked another couple, Darlene Farron and Mike Majo, in a parking lot. This time the man was able to escape and described the shooter as a young man with short hair and characteristically devoid of stress. Soon after that, the murderer himself contacted the police with intent to confess, and there could be no further question regarding the fact that these murders were linked. 3 newspapers got letters on August 1969 from the Zodiac Killer saying the same thing. All of these enclosed full confession of the murders and an encrypted code through which he said he could be identified. The Zodiac called for the ciphers to be published or else more killings would take place. One of the ciphers was deciphered and finally read, "I like killing people because it is so much fun." The letters themselves exposed a preoccupation with death and murder and the constant attention from the public to the killers. In the following months, it unleashed several letters further escalating the bizarre and threatening tenor of the communications. In order to defend his identity, he also used an item of clothing that belonged to one of his victims. He went on the rampage, killing more couples in the more secluded areas of New York. In May 1970, at a campsite, he first shot 2 victims, then stabbed them both under the chest after torturing them. He drew a symbol, a circle with a cross through it, and wrote down dates of his previous carnage at the scene. One of the victims was able to live and describe the assailant. 1 month later, he stabbed a taxi driver to death in San Francisco and sent a part of the shirt where the blood stained to the police. Eyewitnesses were able to see a man fleeing the crime scene that resulted in the famous police sketch of the Zodiac. For the Zodiac, as the letters got more macabre, he declared himself responsible for dozens of murders. However, only 5 were ever substantiated. His messages included vulgar urges to attack local police, whom he mocked for failing to arrest him, as well as direct threats to the lives of school kids. Despite the effort invested in breaking the codes and arresting him, there was no specific suspect found in this man. After some months, the letters stopped coming and the Zodiac appeared to disappear into the wilderness. There are those who think he simply ceased to kill, while there are those who think he was apprehended for different offenses or he died. And over the years, one has heard as many suppositions about the Zodiac's real identity. The man who had many similarities to the killer but was never caught was Arthur Leigh Allen. Other theories point to the Zodiac being many individuals or just an imposter inflating his engagement in other unrelated murders. Even though much technological progress has been made and interest in the case has been revived, the Zodiac's ciphers and identity remain unidentified. They understand that a single man was able to make an entire region afraid. This is the case of the Zodiac Killer. And with every unsolved cipher and every question, one has the strange feeling that the curtain is drawn even thicker. Might there come a day when some form of evidence surfaces, finally pinpointing the Zodiac as a man as opposed to a figment, dozens of murdered women, and 24 more men and boys? What do you think? Leave your thoughts and theories in the section below.